Hi, I'm Jazz and I'm an alcoholic and I'm codependent. I work a 12-step program and I seek health. I'm a seeker and a traveler in my journey. Saying yes. I used to say yes to a lot of things without thinking about it, and I would discount myself. So I wouldn't consider myself as a player in the game, as a component, I wouldn't consider myself. And I would just say yes without thinking. And when I did that, I really abandoned myself in those transactions. I set myself up for stuff I didn't want to do. And because I was trying to please the other person. And I think I thought if I said yes and I pleased them, I'm going to get something out of this. I'm going to be liked more. I'm going to be loved. And so I was okay with just being needed and being a good person that helped over being truly authentically liked or loved. So many of my relationships in my past were if I was a good helper, or if I always said yes and people pleasing. So every time I'm people pleasing, I'm abandoning my true self and intentions and the things that I would honestly do or say, or the way I would live. So I've become a people displeaser now, and often I think I say no more than I say yes. So things have really turned around. If I say yes to something, I really make sure it's a yes for me. And so I am really honest about my yeses now. If it's good for me, if it's like, I consider myself as the other partner or person now, and I would only consider you before when I said yes, because I wanted you to like me. I wanted you to like whatever you needed. If I just give you whatever you need all the time, and I'm so compliant and I'm just like the best help ever, then I'm going to get loved back. And I used to take a lot of pride in being so helpful and so nice and always saying yes. And how can they be like that? Because I helped them and I said yes and I always helped them. And then I didn't get what I needed, but I didn't voice what I needed. And then I didn't get that thing. So I'd be let down, and then I'd be mad at them. Like, very codependent. And so my yeses now, it's like, I really make sure I can do it if I can do it. Like, what is it okay with me? Do I want to? Like, I try not to do too many things that I don't want to do anymore if it's not really something that I like or want to do. And I would just do whatever you wanted. But that led, by doing that all the time, led so much misery, opened up so much misery in my own life. And then I never got anything in return because it was so one-sided. But it's my fault because I was making it so one-sided. I wasn't in these back and forth relationships. I was just in these trying to get things relationships. So I'll just say yes and be nice every single time without saying anything. And then you're going to notice. And then one day it's going to come back to me. And so I find that to be, there's so much risk of unfulfillment by setting up scenarios like that, instead of just taking care of myself and honoring myself and what I want to do in the moment in that situation, taking care of myself and choosing what I want to do. And then letting you live your life and you choose for you, right? Like, by always martyring myself and always laying my life on the line and always doing all the things that I can, just means I am doing all those things, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get that return. Like unless I'm vouching for it or asking for it or taking responsibility, just because I say yes doesn't mean I get something. When I was that people pleaser and I was, I was, it like I was constantly saying yes for stuff that I didn't even like or want to do, or be around people I didn't want to be around. So I think like that it just goes so hand in hand with like a good no and a good yes. And I never said no too much. I said yes all the time. And then now it's like I say more no's, but now I say very for sure yeses. And so no's are really help me with like my authenticity and my safety and stuff. And then my yes is like, they really help with my nurturing and my loving, I find it. And I say lots of yes to lots of good things in my life. And so instead of just saying yes for you, it's more of a yes for me. And letting those good things in, if they are good, if it works, if I have time, if it's okay, if we work, if we fit, if this job fits. I'm not just saying yes because that's the thing I need right now for the money. Like, do I want to be involved in that business thing with that person? What am I saying yes to? Like, I really look more into it, and then like long term as well. And like, I'm evaluating like, how's this going to affect me down the road? Like, how does this affect me right now? And because it's important, right? It's like this is my life that I'm living, and I'm in charge of it now. So I need to be careful of my yeses and my nos. And so I find I put a bit more thought into my yeses, and the yeses were all about for you. And now I find like my yeses are a lot to do with like, what's good for me? Like, what am I allowing in here? What am I saying yes to? And how much good am I saying yes to? And those operating in that way is I still have my no, but my yes doesn't hurt me. So I'm not saying a yes and then allowing that hurt to come in. I just say yes if I can. And I had all that mixed up before, and it seems so simple, but I guess the point of all of this is that I came in just a big mess with all of this stuff intertwined and all over the place, and by kind of separating all these little things and using the yes for a yes and using no's for a no, and figuring out where putting my value on a certain spot and not over there, and getting my priorities in order. Like, once I started like taking the big ball of everything with me and really started to untangle them, but put them in order, and then put them in a priority sequence, and then start following through on things, when like really getting, recovery is messy. I've had a messy recovery, but as I grow through all this and I start putting things in the proper sections, it's like, this is the way that I get to my freedom. This is the way that I get to living my life. And it is changing for me now by taking all these different streets and avenues, and turning when I should turn, and getting off the one way when I should get off the one way, and trying out new towns, and going to new restaurants, like metaphorically speaking, like all of these changes are really, it wasn't getting me anywhere before by not having these changes, and getting out of victim mode, not being a perfectionist anymore, like learning how to say yes, learning how to say no, like learning to not surround myself with toxic people and then be mad that they're toxic. Like like I really have to get on my stuff and make those changes if there's a change to be made, not always complaining about the change that I have to make to have the safety or the freedom that I want. But it's like I'm getting to work and working at it instead of complaining at it. And then, try something else and then continue back at it. So my life has been a lot about just getting these things in order, getting these boundaries going, getting these priorities set up, really, really living and working the steps, and giving back and doing service. And I think one of the nice things about saying yes is added so much more enjoyment to my life, and I wasn't giving myself really too many yeses. And like, yes, I can. And yes, I can go there. And yes, I can work here. And yes, because I want to. Because I'm not worried about what you're needing and think and want. I'm worrying about what I am thinking, needing, and wanting. So I'm changing things around. And I used to just say yes, like very impulsively. And now I find that it's like, hey, I'll get back to you on that request, or give me a day, or hey, you know what? I'll send you my answer in a text, or I'll email you. I'm gonna think about it. Like, I'm gonna think about it. And does that really work for me? And if I'm just gonna say yes and then have some hope for an outcome, like, it's such an easy recipe for disaster. Like, I am just setting myself up for future disappointment. Instead of, I can take the time because I can control myself. I can't control people, places, and things. But if I can just give myself the time and then have that conversation with myself, is this a yes for me, or is this a no for me? And I've done that, just started to do that. I didn't even do that before. I was the yes person for you. So started saying more yeses to me, and what can I add into my life that really make me feel good and pretty and loved and unique and special, and then does this add to my life, or is this taking away, or is this draining? So I'm more attentive too. It's like it has to be equal to or more. Like, that's my new standard, and my standard isn't way up here. My standard is like equal or more. Like, not, oh, it's way down there and I need it to be up here. It's, what do I do to take care of myself in this moment if it is not equal to or more, right? And if I'm really fighting on something to make it come up, then I'm in my control. And I'm focused on something that can never be changed by me. So what I can do is be careful with my yeses, and I really think about them. And is it okay for me? Does that help me? Am I considering myself here? I have to consider myself to learn. I have to learn some advocacy, to learn to grow, to become who I am. But if I'm saying yes to you, I'm abandoning me. And then I'm not learning who I am. I'm not being who I am. I'm not living honestly. And not living honestly comes with a whole bunch of other negative things. So I'm careful with my yeses, and I take my time, and it's not yes all the time anymore. Like for other people, there's lots of yeses now for me, but it's not a lot of yeses out there. And I think that goes in sync with when there's less yeses out there. I'm doing more yeses for me. I'm taking more self-care and becoming more, healthy, self-sufficient, not completely lonely and independent and that doesn't need anyone. I don't want to be that kind of codependent. I want to be careful and nurturing and consider myself before I just go ahead sign up for something that I'm not going, I don't want to do. And what I want to do is important. What I do with my time is important. Who I'm around with, who I hang around with is very important. Like, there's energies, is this a negative person? Like, I think energy travels, 15 feet in a room. It's like if I'm always constantly by someone that's negative, and I'm in that same room with them a lot of the time, I'm going to feel that energy. I'm going to have to combat that energy. I'm going to have to work a harder recovery. I'm going to have stronger boundaries. I'm going to have to not be there as long. I'm going to have to listen harder to what's going on with me. And so I'm really changing things up, and I'm not saying yes to that constant influence anymore that's not really serving me too well. I'm saying yes to the good. Yes to the good, saying no's where I need to say no's, but I'm not in yes land for you to get something met that is probably not going to get met, because it's not other people's job to take care of me. It's my job to take care of me. And I didn't do that before, but having, I've just noticed, like, as I've made these changes, the trust and sincerity that people have with me now speaks for itself. Like, I think people know that when I talk and say an answer about something, they're getting exactly what I mean and say. Like, my yes is really a yes. So, thanks. Bye.